I thought it might be fun to make a video on something I don't really see many people discuss very often on Battlefield at all, and that is the unwritten rules of Battlefield. I saw somebody post an interesting thread here on Reddit the other day, and it is called, "What are some things that everybody bands together in agreement on not doing while playing Battlefield 2042 specifically, but I would say a lot of these things extend to Battlefield games in general." So I decided to write down a little list here, and I'd be interested to hear some of your guys' takes on, what are things in Battlefield games that you should just not really do? What is like a dick move, and what is considered to be like degenerate behavior, I guess. So first of all, number one on my list here is don't use a jet as a taxi. And for any new players who don't know what that means, it essentially means don't use the jet just to fly yourself halfway across the battlefield and then bail out of there so that you don't have to walk or you don't have to use another vehicle. Because there may well be a really good jet pilot on your team, and guess what? Now, all of the aircraft on the enemy team are going to absolutely dominate your team because you don't have that jet pilot to take them out. And for most people who aren't aware of this, jets in Battlefield 2042 specifically aren't very good at killing infantry, unless you're really, really good with them. They're also not that great at killing tanks. What they are amazing at is killing other aircraft. So if your jet is dead, guess what? The enemy aircraft are going to thrive. Alex says redacted wall glitching. Yes, I would agree. That's definitely not one of the older, unwritten rules of Battlefield by any means. But yes, recently in Season 6, there is a new glitch where on the redacted map, you can glitch out of the map, walk around the outside of the wall, and then sort of get back in and surprise somebody and shoot them in the back, usually with an MCS 880 shotgun. Don't do that, guys. I know it's possible to do it, and some of you guys may know how to do it, but just don't, man. It's just scummy, and it doesn't really feel great when it happens to you. Okay, next one on my list is don't bail from a vehicle that is on low health. This happens all the time as well, especially with newer players. Their vehicle gets down to 30, sometimes even 40% health or like 50% health. Somebody jumps out of a tank, and what happens? Somebody on the enemy team jumps straight in there and steals that vehicle. And if you're not aware, if somebody steals your vehicle in Battlefield 2042, it will not respawn for your team. And this is especially bad with vehicles like helicopters, jets, vehicles that can be kept alive for a long period of time. If you lose that vehicle for your team because you bailed out, instead of going down with the ship, you're not going to be a very popular person on your team. Oh, I really like this suggestion from Doritos on Twitch. He says, don't stream snipe. Now, this won't apply to most players, I know, because not that many people stream. But I can attest that as a streamer, it's not such of a big problem now because Battlefield 2042 has matchmaking. But in past Battlefield games like Battlefield 4, I used to play that game, and obviously my viewers could instantly tell based on the server messages and things like that what server I was in. So then all they had to do is join that server, switch teams so they were on the enemy team, and then they would basically troll me for the entire round, trying to kill me wherever I went. They thought it was hilarious. I guess they were trying to get me to like rage on camera or something. But honestly, it's not a lot of fun. And in my opinion, it's just a scummy thing to do. Oh, that's a good one, Zabi. That's a really good one. That is also the next one on my list. Yeah, I've written down here, don't go spamming the machine gun on the tank. But this applies to more than just tanks. And as Zabi says here, when you're sneaking in the vehicle and the gunner goes trigger happy. So many players love to do this, especially new players. We've all been there. You spawn into a tank. Some random guy from your squad spawns into the gunner seat, and he just starts like bah, 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 spraying the machine gun all over the place. That doesn't really do anything. Like, I get it. The guy's bored. He's waiting for a target. He's just messing around and having fun. But it's basically like a 10-ton steel fanfare announcing your arrival to everybody on the battlefield, right? If there's a tank somewhere, they are going to hear you, and they're going to probably get the jump on you, whereas you probably could have gotten the jump on him had your gunner not been spraying needlessly into the air. And getting the jump on them doesn't just mean getting the first shot, it often means getting a side shot or even a rear shot and getting a really big advantage. So that is, you know, a really big one for me. Happens all too often there. Oh, I love this one as well, Ivsy. If your teammate is flanking a tank with C4, don't shoot your rocket. Don't give away the game. Yeah, if you see your teammate, or, you know, if they're like in a lap V and they're obviously going for a C5 Jeep moment, they've got C5 on the front of there, they're speeding towards the tank, don't go and like give away the game by alerting that railgun tank who's like camping in the spawn to your presence and make him trigger his APS or something, right? I mean, I know C5 goes through APS, but you get the point. That also leads me on to another one. I don't have this written down, but speaking of which, don't spawn camp in vehicles. I know you can do it. You can spawn camp in railgun tanks, and I would say the most egregious vehicle you can spawn camp in are the Wildcats, of course. Just don't do it though. It's just cheap. It's too easy. And for me personally, if I see somebody spawn camping, I will have a vendetta against that person for the rest of the game. You know, I will just put the entire game aside. I don't even care if we lose the game. I'm just like, you are gonna die. Like, whatever I have to do, whether I need to get C5 and parachute in there as McKay, or take a Sundance, or take a railgun tank, or fly a jet and bail out of the jet, even if using it as a taxi, I still feel it's worth it in that situation. I will get it done, you know? So, just don't be that person. I really hope DICE do something about the ability to camp in spawn by, you know, making it so it's like a safe zone so that you can't be attacked in the spawn, but you also can't do any damage out of the spawn. So whenever you're in the spawn, you can go AFK there if you want, right? Nothing can really happen to you. There would be some issues there though, like, let's say you're playing infantry, you know, can you just like dance around, hopping in and out of the spawn? Like, oh, now I'm invincible, now I'm not, now I'm you know, that's not really going to work out either. So I think there's going to have to be some sort of a grace period there. Okay, and the last one I have on my list here, guys, is it's a bit of a vague one, but it's basically when and when not to teabag people. So I think there are some customs to the art of teabagging. So first of all, I would say, for me, everyone has their own opinion on this. If somebody teabags you, first of all, you're well within your right to teabag them back. Like, it doesn't matter the situation. If they teabag you, a counter teabagging is an absolute must for me. But they don't always have to be the initial teabagger. Sometimes, let's say some guy kills me in a Nightbird a couple of times, and then I manage to snipe him out of there with my AK-24, right? That's teabag worthy, in my opinion. Let's say there's a sniper 500 meters away from me, and he's sniping at me, and I managed to snipe him back with a pistol. That's teabag worthy. If it's like some sort of a like situation where they had a massive advantage over you, and you actually managed to turn the tide and kill them instead, I feel like that's like worth a teabag. But otherwise, you shouldn't just like teabag people randomly for no apparent reason. Oh, there's also another situation. If there's somebody that you know on the enemy team, and you're obviously not like talking to them on comms or something, sometimes you do the hello teabag. You know what I mean? When you see your friend and you kill them, and you do a little teabag, and it's not a rude teabag. It's like a, oh hi mate, how you doing kind of teabag. That's how I see it. That's how I understand the rules of teabagging. I don't know what you guys feel about that, but by all means, feel free to share your thoughts.